I know many of you are eagerly waiting for the release date of Virgin River Season 7. There aren't any confirmed updates yet, but there are rumors that it could release by the end of January 2026. I'm not sure how true that is, but I thought it was worth sharing with you. That said, today's video is actually about something a little different. So far, 6 seasons of Virgin River have been released, Season 7 is lined up, and Season 8 has already been renewed. The show is based on the romance novels written by Robin Carr, but so far, the show has made many changes from the original books to appeal to a wider audience. If you've read the novels, you might already know about some of these changes. If not, make sure to watch this video because the differences will definitely surprise you. Let us start with Lizzie's story. In the Netflix show, Lizzie is introduced as Connie's niece who comes to live with her in Virgin River. She is shown as a fun, outspoken, and sometimes rebellious young adult. She quickly gets into a romance with Ricky, the sweet local boy. Their love story in the show feels like a typical young couple who are still figuring out their lives, making mistakes, and trying to grow up. But if you look into the books, Lizzie's story is far more serious and much more heartbreaking. In Robin Carr's original Virgin River books, Lizzie is much younger. She is actually a teenager, not a young adult like in the show. She falls in love with Ricky, and their romance turns into something life-changing when Lizzie becomes pregnant. This forces both Ricky and Lizzie to grow up very quickly. They are both still teenagers, but now they have to face adult responsibilities. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes when Lizzie ends up having a stillbirth. This loss devastates both of them, and it deeply changes Ricky's life. After this, Ricky decides to join the Marines. Not because it was always his dream, but mainly as a way to escape the emotional pain of losing their baby. Now, in the Netflix show, this entire pregnancy storyline is left out. Lizzie is not shown pregnant at all. She and Ricky simply have a romance that eventually faces challenges, but nothing as tragic as in the books. Also, in the show, Ricky's decision to join the Marines is presented as something he had always wanted to do, following Jack's example, not something driven by grief. Bree's love life is another major area where the books and the show are very different. In the Netflix show, Bree, who is Jack's sister, is introduced in Season 3. She quickly falls into a relationship with Brady, who is often seen as Jack's frenemy. Their relationship in the show is filled with ups and downs, especially since Brady keeps getting into trouble, including being wrongly accused of crimes. Many times their relationship seems shaky, but they still keep coming back together. In the books, though, Bree's heart belongs to someone completely different. She falls in love with Mike, who is one of Jack's Marine friends. Their love story is actually so important in the books that one of the novels, Whispering Rock, is dedicated to their romance. Bree and Mike eventually end up together, and that is her main storyline in the books. In the books, Brady is not Bree's love interest at all. He actually ends up with someone else, and his role isn't as important as it is in the show. But Netflix completely changed this. Instead of Bree being with Mike, the series created a romance between Bree and Brady, a relationship that never existed in the novels. Even though Season 6 ended with Bree still being with Mike, it's clear that her feelings for Brady are still strong. This makes it seem likely that the writers might eventually bring Bree and Brady together at the end, which would be one of the biggest changes from the books. Charmaine is another character who is very different in the books compared to the Netflix show. In the books, she is only a small character. Jack is casually dating her when Mel first comes to Virgin River. But once Jack realizes he loves Mel, he ends things with Charmaine. She accepts this and doesn't cause any problems. After that, she fades into the background and doesn't play an important role in the story. In the Netflix show, however, Charmaine is turned into one of the biggest sources of drama. Instead of being minor, she becomes a major recurring character. Her relationship with Jack is stretched into a long storyline. In Season 1, she reveals she is pregnant, and for several seasons, this pregnancy becomes a huge focus. Everyone first believes the babies are Jack's, which causes a lot of tension between Jack, Charmaine, and Mel. Then, at the end of Season 4, Charmaine shocks everyone by admitting Jack is not the father of her twins. This twist sets up even more drama for future seasons. Another big change is how long her pregnancy lasts on the show. She is pregnant from Season 1 all the way to Season 5, before finally going into labor, making it feel like one of the longest pregnancies ever shown on TV. In the books, this entire pregnancy storyline does not exist at all. The show also makes Calvin the biological father of her kids. Calvin also plays big role in the Virgin River series. In the books, there is no such character. At the end of Season 6, there is another twist involving Charmaine and her twins, which was created only for the show. None of this happens in the novels. So Charmaine's much bigger and dramatic role is completely the work of the Netflix series. Mel's backstory also has some big changes. In the Netflix show, we learn that Mel and her late husband Mark struggled with infertility for years. They finally got pregnant but suffered a stillbirth, which deeply hurt their marriage. To make things worse, Mark later dies in a car crash after he and Mel had been arguing. This leaves Mel full of guilt and sadness when she comes to Virgin River. In the books, Mel's story is still tragic, but in a different way. Her husband Mark also dies, but not in a car accident. Instead, he is killed during a convenience store robbery. Also, Mel and Mark never had a stillborn baby in the books. The writers of the show added these extra emotional layers to make her journey even heavier. Both versions show her starting a new life in Virgin River, but the reasons behind her pain are very different. Preacher and Paige's storyline is another area with big differences. In the books, Preacher is actually the main character of the second novel. His love story with Paige is a steady one. He meets her, protects her from her abusive ex-husband, and they gradually fall in love. Paige stays in Virgin River, and their romance continues without too much drama. In the Netflix show, though, their story is full of twists and suspense. Paige ends up killing her abusive ex in self-defense, and Preacher helps her cover it up. Because of this, Paige disappears for long parts of the series, leaving Preacher on his own. In Season 5, Preacher even starts a new relationship with Kaya, a firefighter, which is completely original to the show since Kaya doesn't exist in the books. As of now in the series, their relationship is still ongoing. This means the show has taken Preacher's story in a very different direction compared to the steady and drama-free love story he had with Paige in the books. Doc and Hope's relationship is also a huge change from the books. In the Netflix show, Doc and Hope are an estranged married couple who have been separated for 20 years. Over the course of the series, they slowly reconcile, and by Season 5, they are back together as one of the strongest couples on the show. But in the books, Doc and Hope are not a couple at all. They only have a platonic friendship. There is no long-lost love story, no marriage, no reconciliation. This entire romance was created for the Netflix series, and it gives a lot more depth and emotion to Doc's character than what existed in the novels. Finally, Mel's parents' storyline. In Season 5, Mel begins searching for her biological father, which becomes a huge plotline. By the end of Season 6, this story takes center stage with flashbacks to her mother's life in Virgin River in the 1970s. This is also being used as a setup for a potential spin-off series focusing on Mel's parents and their romance. In the books, however, Mel's parentage is never a major plot point. This is something Netflix created from scratch to expand the world and give new material for the series and possible spin-offs. Those were the biggest changes I wanted to highlight between the books and the Netflix series up through Season 6. Of course, there are still other differences I haven't covered here, but these stand out the most. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions.